What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday morning. It's 10 o'clock. It's time for some coffee talk. Are y'all ready to get into this conversation this morning? Because I am. I've been enjoying the coffee talk little situation over here. Like I said before, I'm a morning person, so it's just, my mind is fresh. Whew, I'll be over here trying to read out loud. That's been a challenge, but I'm determined to not sound a fool over here when I'm reading out loud. It's the, I used to a lot more. You know what it is? I feel like you ever do these tests like on Facebook and Instagram where you're reading these sentences that are all like misconstrued with the lettering and everything, but you could figure it out anyway because your brain starts to like handle things for you. That's not always good because if you're reading something like with specifics, you don't need your brain handling things for you. You need to just go ahead and read it. So yeah, I'll be reading again today, y'all. Try to stay in there with me. Um, if you're unfamiliar, with what we do over here, we get over here, we try to uplift the community. We try to find things that are going on in the community around these United States to help us, like strengthen together, as a whole. It gets good versus evil out here. We're not going to talk about we will like compartmentalize the things that need to be discussed in a very specific, but as a whole, it's good versus evil. It's we out here trying to just maintain peace, just go to work, come home, be able to afford the things that we like to do, and stay out of everybody else's business. So, did I say like the video? Like the live, go ahead, hit the like. And if you have to get, need a little something in the morning to get yourself started at 10 a.m., hang out with me. We be over here for about an hour or, yeah, it's just an hour to, get your mind right. Try to be on, some positivity or whatever. Anyway, let's see, where are we going to start today? You know how I like to do. Let's start with a little wake up all the children. Dun, 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 dun.
Mrs. J.D. Milam, and I think this is the most ridiculous thing that has ever happened. The Negroes are just as free as we are. They have the same opportunity to work and to build their part of the town up just the same as we have. I just don't understand it and don't approve of it. I'm going to stand up for my rights.
Jim Knight with WALB Television News. We're soliciting the views of Albany people on the Civil Rights Bill. Would you like to give us your views?
Well, I think if they remain peaceful, it would be a lot better than perhaps the violence that would be concerned. Well, of course, being a Southerner, I'm not for it at all.
I see.
And I just don't know how it's going to turn out. I hope we don't have any trouble.
We're soliciting opinions on the Civil Rights Bill. Would you like to give us yours?
History has never just been about what happened. It's about what's been told, and more importantly, what's been left out. For centuries, Black history has been clipped down to pain, chained to struggle, and packaged neatly between slavery and civil rights. But that's not our beginning, and it's certainly not our whole story. Most of us were taught a version of Black history that was incomplete at best. We didn't learn about Queen Zinga, Mansa Musa, or thriving communities like Black Wall Street. We missed out on the brilliance, the innovation, and the power that shaped the world. That's why Black History Unlocked created The History Books Forgot to Say We Were More Than Enslaved, a digital ebook that reclaims the truth and tells the stories you probably didn't learn in school. Click the link in our bio to get your copy today and reclaim the narrative.
That's definitely on my list. A lot of times, like I know that we live in a space where time is of the essence, and so we don't want to sit down somewhere and physically read a book. Although I feel like we should. I feel like if we incorporate that just a little bit more. I grew up with stories, like sitting and reading stories, and so some of those books like still we got babies over here. So we've got, even though I know Dr. Seuss was a problem, but we're talking about the books. Um, just the language that you teach your kids, it's okay to like incorporate this. There's like all these different websites that you could go to for children's books. And you got to start at the beginning in order, I feel like, to initiate change. The change has to start from the young people, because we can't keep indoctrinating the nonsense into the youth. Not everybody's kids is being indoctrinated into evil. Some people's kids is out here protested from the best way they know how. I think my daughter's a little old for roadblocks, but for some of these kids, they don't. Hell no, we won't go. The kids is down to roadblocks protesting. This is so cute to me. Look at what they're doing. They had the people is in the chat, in the streets, in roadblocks. Ooh, they're upset over here, these children. I'm happy about this mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because look how much time they spend over there. They're outside the roadblocks headquarters. Tear that shit down. We don't want it. Whose are these kids' mamas and daddies? Oh my goodness. If you think your kids aren't paying attention, they are. So you better be paying attention. You better see what they over here doing when you want to, birth the child and throw an electronic device in their hands. And then you think they don't know what's going on. What does this look like to them? And you can say all you want that this doesn't influence them, because it could very well be going the other way. But right now, this is what they over here doing. Oh goodness, the visual of it all. To think, because when I was getting on my school bus, this is not what was happening. So look at that. The kids is trying to go to school to learn and build and commune with one another, but they got, they got ICE over here trying to disrupt, whatever is supposed to be happening in life. Because women like this one over here, oh my God, the blacks have just as much rights as we have. Good morning, T. I'm over here starting some mess, but not really, and I appreciate that T is here, because whatever I don't know, boy, I bet you she know. Did you know the kids was out here protesting on Roblox? Like they don't know what's going on. And they're very smart. They're very smart, because I would say 9 times out of 10, when it comes to electronics, unless you went to somebody's school to teach you the language, you're probably asking your kids how to help you log on to things. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on a website. I'm really excited about it. Normally I don't like to talk about things until it's done, but I'm putting it out there because I'm very close. Hell no, we won't go. Who was that? What show was that when we grew up and they was protesting and they was like, hell no, we won't go. We need to bring that back. Yeah. So you probably need, a lot of times, a lot of us, I've had to figure out the software on my own, just because, my kids are grown now and they have abandoned me and they've making me figure it out by myself. So anyway, on to other news. We want to talk about the money. The money that the people that have money, the wealthy folks that have lots of money to share, they out here sharing it. We had Jerry Rice and his wife was over there making sure the kids had lunch at school. Today we got tennis star Coco Gauff donates $150,000 for scholarships to support HBCU tennis players. Coco Gauff is putting more money behind the cause. She's been championing opening doors for students, athletes at historical Black colleges and universities. The American tennis star has donated $150,000 in United Negro College Fund to fund scholarships for students attending HBCUs who compete in tennis. That's awesome. That's, she's passionate about it. We don't see a lot of us. That's an expensive sport, and they all are. When you start getting to college level, it costs a lot to, get your kids exposed to, you know, the next level of whatever their sport is. The new gift builds on golf's earlier support of the same mission. Last year, she contributed $100,000 to launch the Coco Golf Scholarship Program, an initiative administered by UNCF to help HBCU tennis players offset college costs while balancing the demands of athletic and academics. I'm going to keep interrupting her story, but is that show coming back? I think they canceled it. It was like the off show of Homecoming. What was it? American, the football player. No, I guess my brain ain't as sharp in the morning as I thought. But let me finish this, then we'll get on with the conversation. For Goff, the investment is also personal. In statements shared around the earlier scholarship launch, she highlighted her family's long-standing ties to HBCUs and emphasized why it mattered to see young Black athletes thrive in both education and sport. Hell yeah. UNCF leadership has framed the program as a way to strengthen the pipeline of opportunity, supporting students on campus while reinforcing value of HBCUs in developing future leaders. Well, love to hear it, because a lot of times, kids just can't afford to, take their athleticism to the next level. It's important to get HBCUs back in the shape. I agree. Like, I went to college with Denise Huxtable. That whole time, American Homecoming. Yes, that's the name of the show. And All American. Yeah, All American Homecoming. We need that too. I was just going to say, like, when I went to school, good morning, Elsie. She's passing through because, she's worldwide. Catch up. Yeah, when I went to school, it was Hillman and all of that. And I went to college in Atlanta, and I went to a fashion school, but I was still, in the same city with Spelman and Morehouse. And this is the thing too. This money is very important. And we do need to bring HBCUs back to the way they were. But honest, these colleges are not cheap schools. Y'all are competing with the Ivy League schools, the Yales and the Harvards of it all. So please make sure these kids are not in these raggedy ass conditions. You know what I'm saying? These schools are historical. So, you can't just be switching the campuses, but you can definitely be investing in security to keep these young ladies safe on these college campuses. That's a whole nother story. We may have that discussion as a sidebar, but for right now, yeah, we need to definitely get the HBCUs in what Dion did for where was he at? Jackson. What Dion did for Jackson, there was all this conversation about how he moves within the league. And I mean, wasn't nobody talking about HBCUs in that moment. You know what I'm saying? He definitely brought attention. And I feel like all of them, I would love to see Andre at, a HBCU. Eddie George is somewhere, but we don't hear about him very often. So he need to him and Taj need to give them a reality show. You know what I'm saying? Not the messy kind, but the kinds that shows us, what people do. We don't care about the marriage. Let's don't. We don't want to talk about what he may or may not be doing and any of that. You got Taj and Eddie, Taj from SWB and Eddie, who, they still in there doing a damn thing. I don't want to talk about Black love. I want to talk about Black business. So yeah, give them a reality show so we can see some different images. When I went to school, there was Different World who, always had a message. All American Homecoming had a message. And I think those type of shows inspire the kids to go to HBCU. So yeah, put your money where your mouth is. Who left? Oh, he left Tennessee State. Well, let's see. Let's see what it's going to do. And y'all got the money, and Dion went over there investing his own money when they didn't have nowhere to no water, because the governor had a direct line to his house, but the kids didn't have no water in the city. He made sure that the football team was taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So the money gonna have to be allocated out a little bit. and make sure that these young people have images, because that's where they're at. Images that are positive. I think they took that off. So I don't know who got a network. Put it over there somewhere. Not a BT, because they tend to fail on that one. They brought you College with Jocelyn Hernandez, so you have that. He's at Bowling Green in Ohio. Eddie George's. I mean, there's more, he's out here, but we need to see him more outside of just football coaching. Let's focus on that and stay away from the little assistant girls down to the towel bins and things. What else? Shout out to Coco for doing the damn thing. We'd be so busy buying Birkin bags and things, and passing by things that we deem lower class, even if you in that same space. You know what I'm saying? You can be somebody who can't afford a washer and dryer and have to go take your ass to the laundromat, but you look down on it because, you don't think you belong there. You know what I'm saying? But maybe if you think about it in a different way, the richest people in the U.S. aren't building apps. They're buying car washes and laundromats. Here are 18 boring businesses with the lowest failure rates and the highest profits. Let's see. Startup costs for a laundromat is $200,000 to $500,000. Profit margins 20 to 35%. If this isn't broke down to the very basic, I don't know what is. Failure rate 5% in the first year. Why it works: essential service with steady demand, minimal staffing required. Cleaning clothes are a constant need, making laundromats a timeless investment. What else? Who hasn't had to go to the laundromat? Oh, car washes. Number 2. Startup costs $250,000 to $500,000. Profit margin 16 to 25%. Failure rates 10% in the first year. Why it works: reoccurring customers, base opportunities for automation. In the U.S., clean cars equate to constant cash flow. And over here where the sun shines all the time, not all the time, but in the summertime, throughout the year, you have to get your car washed. And if you have a nice car, and if you create a business that, aesthetically people want to come to, because that's part of business. The part that we, I feel run away from is because there has to be guidelines in order to brand yourself. Oh yeah, we need to get into that too. And people, I think, like cars. I don't want to say men. I think people like cars. And you learn a lot about cars. I think there's a lot into it, and it makes sense why it works. Vending machine routes. I've thought about this. Startup costs $2,000 to $10,000. Profit margin 10 to 20%. Failure rate 15% in the first year. Why it works: low overhead, scalable with minimal effort. Each machine is a silent sales person working 24/7. You don't even have to hire anybody. You know what I'm saying? Based on a vending machine, you could just go do that yourself until you grow. So 2,000 startup on a vending machine, I feel is in the range of a whole lot of us. I need to, ponder that. I'm going to go on a morning walk after I leave here. I'm going to ponder that. I'm going to call you later. We're going to talk about a vending machine. ATM ownership, same thing. Startup costs, 200 to 3,000 per machine. Profit margins, high transaction failure rates, 10% in the first year. Why it works? Passive income, cash-based transactions still prevalent. Woo. Every withdrawal adds to your wealth. I said yesterday when we was talking about buying stocks in Netflix, this right here makes more sense to me, honestly. Like, you can get your hands on $2,000 to $3,000. It's an investment. You know what I'm saying? Only to be paying yourself. Child, duly noted. Self-storage facilities, startup costs, 500,000 to $1 million. Profit margin, 30 to 40%. Failure rate, 8% in the first year. Why it works, high demand for storage, low maintenance. People's clutter can be your cash cow. That's a bigger level, but still, they said why rich people be what they investing in. Mobile car detailing. Here we go. And I mean, I feel like it's a lot of guys this is like an opportunity for young men to hang out with their buddies who, get up from the video game for a minute. Come, let's get this money right quick. It's like landscaping, I feel like. Yeah, but when you go to like office buildings and places where, you know what I'm saying, if you promote yourself right, you don't have to just even be driving all over the place. People will be like, hey, the car detailing guy is, over here on Fridays. Nice. Why would, shit, I wouldn't mind doing that too. Why it works. Low overhead, flexible scheduling, a clean car delivered to the customer, convenience sales. Yes, because people are working from home. You know what I'm saying? You can come through. I don't know what your homeowners association says about getting your car washed, but I feel like, yeah. Pet waste removal surface. Startup costs 100 to 5,000. What is that? Profit is pet waste removal surface? Failure rate, 10% in the first year. Profit margin, 30 to 40%. Why it works, reoccurring service. Minimal competition, turning pet mess into steady income. I mean, I don't get it. You have people come pick up your pet waste. That one I need a little more information on. But hey, for the carless and the jobless, half of them got pets anyway. Commercial cleaning service, startup costs 10,000 to 50,000. Profit margins 10 to 15%. Failure rate 12% in the first year. Why it works? Essential for businesses. Contracts provided stability. Okay, clean spaces lead to clean profits. Commercial cleaning, you got to get those contracts. So, that means you just need somebody in business with you that knows that hustle. 10,000 to 15. Like, I think there's people out there that's what they do. Call around and negotiate contracts. So on the low end, startup costs, I think at 10,000, like realistically, it definitely would be a partnership. I think best at with two people, unless it's just, your next level of income. I'm talking about for regular people. I mean, for people with wealth, that's nothing. Failure rate 10% the first year, profit margin 20 to 30%. Why it works, ongoing need, regulatory requirements ensure demand. Eliminating pests can be lucrative endeavor. Pest control services. Yeah, heck yeah. Lawn care and landscaping, startup costs 5,000 to 15,000. I know it's 15% to 15 to 25% margin profit, failure rate 15%. Why it works, seasonal contracts, repeat customers. Grass grows, so does your income. you got to hustle that too. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say is when you have someone that's dependable and comes and does a good job, you're going to make sure. And usually what happens is they start having, who's your lawn guy? Who's your lawn guy? So you start doing people within, the same area. And whew, down here, it's a jungle out there, child. Mobile notary service, startup 500 to 1,000, profit margins, high per appointment, failure rate 5% in the first year. Why it works, low overhead, flexible hours. Stamping documents can stamp out financial worries. That's something to be looked into. You know what I'm saying? Those are, what is the, I guess you could go to offices or whatever that don't have a notary. You have to brand your own business. So let's see. Junk removal service. Startup costs 10,000 to 30,000. Profit margins 20 to 30%. Failure rate 12% in the first year. Why it works, high demand, scalable operations. One person's trash is another person's treasure trove. Again, 10,000. I don't think, to have pay some people to come haul some shit. And you know where to, go dump it. That's why a truck is a good investment. Pressure washing service. I know this is probably a good one. Startup cost 5,000 to 10,000. Profit 20 to 30%. Failure rate 10% in the first year. Why it works, seasonal demand, residential and commercial clients. Cleaning service can up your finances. This one right here, all you got to do is like invest in a dang pressure washer. I know that you have to study that business, and that machine is like, you have to know how to work that thing. You can't be over there like knocking the tiling off of people's homes and things, or busting up the sidewalks. But I feel like I can see where that one, because it's a thing. Around here it's definitely a thing. They will be getting on your ass about making sure, your driveways and things are pressure washed. So, just things that you never even think about. Mobile oil change service. Now that's a good one. Startup costs 10,000 to 25,000. Profit margins 15 to 25%. Failure rate 15% in the first year. Why it works, convenience for customers, repeat business. Absolutely. Keep engines running, keeps your business humming. That's just a matter of hustling. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing. When you have somebody that's coming to take care of your car properly, rather than running up and through, one of those drive-through things, if you're good at business and, take pride in what you do, you're more likely to be successful than not. Appliance repair service. Okay, that's something different. You might need a little bit of, training for that, but your startup cost is 5,000 to 15,000. Profit margin 20 to 30%. Failure rate 10%. Fixing what others throw away builds real value. I would say that, especially when you're talking about big appliances where you're like, hey, there's probably just a little thing that needs to be changed in here. I don't need a new dishwasher. Bounce house rentals. Heck yeah. Never thought about that. Startup costs 5,000 to 10,000. Profit margin 30 to 50%. Failure rate 8%. Childhood joy turns into adult profits. All you got to do is come over there, put the thing up, and come back when the party's over. And I see plenty of bounce houses. Never thought about that. Portable toilet rentals. Startup costs 25,000 to 50,000. Profit margin 25 to 35%. Failure rate 10%. The dirtiest business often yields the cleanest margins. I mean, it's okay for somebody. Faceless YouTube channels. Startup 700 to 1,000 a month. Revenue 5,000 to 10,000 a month. Exit potential 20 to 30 times monthly profit, why it works, low startup costs, growing user base, and easy to outsource. With YouTube now being the biggest streaming platform, there's more opportunities. Well, I'm here to tell you, it ain't that daggone easy, but I see what you're saying. What does it say? Take my car's channel, for example. I'm not about to do that. So, but there you go. That was some useful information. Do with it what you will. I think a lot of times we don't even think about those type of things. And right now we have people that they looking for a job. You know what I'm saying? What are y'all saying? Ooh, y'all been over here talking, but that was a long one. What's up, Ja Tony? Send you that article, will do. Let's make laundromats like a sports bar, wine bar. Well, now you're talking about other different types of liability. People don't be in the best mood and probably already drunk when they get to the laundromat. So let's just make it like low maintenance, Elle said. When in Florida, I would sup up my car and let the rain wash it down. Yeah, or I see a lot of little, on the sidebar, car wash things. It's a I don't know, it's the whole vibe, the car wash. You can make it what you want. And guys like hanging out, it's just like the barbershop. It's just somewhere to hang out and talk about cars, and you know what I'm saying? But if you have the right business mindset and they can purchase the same stuff they purchase when they go to the other, car washes. So you can go home and sudsy up your thing, when the rain happens. You know what I'm saying? But I think car wash is a vibe. It's a place where guys and others hang out. Girls be over there scoping out the cars where the Lexus and the coupes and the Benzes and things be. Ooh, y'all was over here just pet waste removal. Then pet poop bags need to be picked up and turned into compost. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not understanding why that one I don't need somebody to pick up my pet's poop. I do that just fine. You know what I'm saying? And yes, for me, I grind that shit up in the ground over by where the hurricane seasons and things are causing some little erosion. I'm trying to build that side back up. This ain't my house, but I'm just saying I don't need somebody to come pick up the poop. They clean the waste from your yard. You would pay for that? I just do it myself. You would pay for that? Your dog is like leaves the littlest poops by a day or so. It's just gonna be dust. Now, pet waste removal needs to create an app to report pet waste and charge for pickup. Now that part makes sense. See what I'm saying? Elsie is cooking. Jane did commercial cleaning. You just pick up small business on. Yeah, but did she do it like honestly? Like I said, it's a lot of people that need work. These are businesses. When you say the startup is 2,000, you could probably manage 2,000. Even if you have to borrow it from somewhere. And if you're about your business, I feel like people would invest in you. Pest control is a lot of chemicals. Yeah, I would say for jobs like that. But what if you are somebody who used to work for a company? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the mindset for pest control and appliance repair. People who have done that, and you can just do your own and create your own brand. And once you have a clientele, I live by clientele. That's how I make my money. Once you have a clientele and show people that you stand on business, they prefer dealing, I think, with someone they know rather than every time I got a call, some strange new person comes to my house, and I don't know if they're trying to jerk me around or not. Junk removal services cost depends on the landfill charge. I feel like that's another one of those too that you have to negotiate contracts for. Bounce house is great because those bounce houses cost it. Yeah, and you don't even, like I said, you don't even have to be there. You just need to come make sure that thing is put up properly, and then, you know, get somewhere. I did hear that somewhere else said YouTube is about to stop faceless channels. I mean, I feel like they're trying to stop people who are just putting stuff up there, like, what do they call it? Chat GBT style. And they're not actually doing the work. They're just over there, you know, copying and pasting. Sissy brings all the boys to the yard. Oh my God, that's so funny. So the boys be over there pooping in your yard? Well, then they mamas need to pay for it. I'm just saying. Ja Tony likes that your name is shooting the shit. Free notary at your bank. Yeah, but you know how people don't like to go nowhere. And they like, I'm in the office. I don't have time to, you know, like say an insurance person. So most places that need a notary have somebody in the office already that's a notary. When I worked in places, you know, that needed a notary, somebody in the building was certified. So again, I feel like that would have to be something that you got to market yourself. I would say nothing is a bad idea. But for people who don't want to leave nowhere, you know, people that work from home and don't necessarily have time, they can use a notary service for, you know, small offices and things like that. You just gonna have to hustle, you know, to build your business. So yeah, I love that. Thanks for the input, guys. And yeah, I'm gonna put the link for this particular article in the chat, and T, I'll send it to you just to make sure you remind me. Okay, moving on. Jane, we've been here 41 minutes already. I might not get to cover everything today, but let's see. This one for sure. So this lady came over here. She's upset because
try to make this video as calmly as possible. My name is Maisha Newton. My father's name was Walter Newton. He was the brother of Huey Percy Newton, who started the Black Panther Party in Oakland, California. Okay? My handle name is Maisha 415 Newton. If you don't believe me, we just came out with the second book, The Roots of the Revolutionary Suicide. This is the roots of Huey P. Newton, okay? That's my father, okay? These are our grandparents, okay? There go Huey right there, okay? I got birth certificate, paperwork, and a whole bunch of Newtons who are ready to listen. This goes out to the Black Panther Party, the new United Black Panther Party, whoever's out there protesting with these Somalians. I'm about to get a cease and desist order against you, and I'm about to sue you because you guys you are not going to defame my uncle's name like that. We're not doing that. See you in court, bitches. All you space monkey, porch monkey ass motherfuckers sitting there trying to represent the Black Panthers. We are not doing that. Y'all ain't no Black Panthers. What y'all, the cartoon motherfucking character? Y'all don't even know your fucking history. Y'all sitting out there and want to fight for an illegal who's taking away your housing, your benefits, kicking you out of your motherfucking shit. And you want to get up there and act like this is, we ain't doing this. And the cold part about it is that little space monkey up there talking about, oh, you come up over here, we gonna do this. Nigga, you's a mark. You a mark, okay? That's right. Coming straight from a real Newton. You a mark ass motherfucker. And guess what? Your day of running around here pretending and wanting to be a Panther, a Black Panther, the Black Panther Party is over. Watch this, player, coming for you. All you space.
Anybody got this cousin? Anybody got this cousin in your family where you like, lady, relax? I have feelings about this. The first comment is at Angela Ray. She is incorrect. Historically, the BPP stood with the Chicago movement in the Chi. Fred Hampton, yep, he was the creator of the original Rainbow Coalition. Heard of the Brown Berets Coalition. Let's not do this right now. There's so much to be divided about. This ain't it. I feel like there's a lot of us with this cousin that be out here running their mouth. When I first heard about the Black Panther Party, though, I was like, skeptical. You know what I'm saying? Who owns the rights to the name Black Panther Party? That lady, probably. She got all the papers and everything, birth certificates and everything. Oh, my goodness. I'm not about what she said. I'm all about the movement. I don't know like who this guy is, but we gonna let him speak on behalf of his own self, because this lady over here, I don't know that I don't know her like that. But she's gonna sue him. I don't know what she's gonna sue him for. I don't think she does either, but she's the one that holds the birth certificates.
I'm Chairman Paul Birdsong from the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. I want to address a couple of things. Thing number one, I see a lot of people asking why the Black Panthers are going up against ICE for the immigrants. Well, I want to tell you something. The Black Panther Party is not a Black nationalist organization. The new Black Panther Party might be. I'm not sure. The Revolutionary Black Panther Party might be. Any of these variations of Black Panther parties might be. But the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, the one that Huey Newton started with Bobby Seale, is an internationalist organization that stands as allies with oppressed people, no matter what their ethnic background is, no matter what their cultural background is. So just like my predecessors stood up against the United States of America's imperialist regime with Vietnam to stop the Vietnam War. I don't know if you know your history, the Black Panther Party was strictly opposed to the Vietnam War. We had the Rainbow Coalition with all different ethnic groups coming together and fighting against the regime together. That's what we stand for. All power to the people. We're not racist. The very ideology of racism in and of itself is not intellectual, being that there's only one race on the planet, and that's the human race. We have different ethnic backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? We have different cultural backgrounds, different skin colors, different languages and ideologies, but we're all part of one human race. You know what I'm saying? So racism is in and of itself irrational, illogical, is unsensible. It just doesn't make any sense. No intelligent person would embrace the ideologies of racism. So we're not a nationalist group, we're an international group. And then another thing, I got people from my past, like this one elderly man. I'm not going to say his name, but they like to troll me and, try to call me fake gangster, fake this, fake that from my past. And, I don't care. My goal is not to prove to anybody that I was ever a gang member or that I was ever a thug or what I was locked up for or wasn't locked up for. My goal is to protect my people from ICE, to protect my people from police brutality, to protect my people from crooked politicians, imperialism, to protect my people from imperialism, fascism, to protect my people from racism, to protect my people from capitalism. That's what my goal is, to protect my people from tyranny. I don't care about none of that stuff you're talking about, bro. I'm out here feeding people. I feed hundreds of people a week, if not thousands. You know, the Black Panther Party feeds people in multiple states across the country. I don't care about what you're talking about. While you at home or wherever you are typing on your phone about what I'm doing, I'm outside with these guns and with these warriors I got with me actually fighting for the people, actually doing something that matters, which is what you should be doing. So that's how I feel about that, you know? And with that being said, all power to the people. No power to the pigs.
Well, I'm very pro this, this organization. When they put the new Black Panther Party on front of the name, makes the new name that don't have. She said, "Keep it blackety black." I like I said, I'm pro this. Definitely, if they're doing the things in the community that he says they're doing, everybody's needs to be held accountable. We had the whole Black Lives Matter situation, and I'm still like pro the idea, but the organization, had some had some weak legs at the table. But you don't, and because of that, I think it makes it hard to just like jump on the bandwagon. When I see ICE out here running in the streets, I'm like, so who's going to protect us? When is this gonna happen? You know what I mean? Boots on the ground. What does that look like? Because y'all be out here, being ridiculous over a whole lot of other nonsense. And so this is a time, where the people need to come together. So if they want to have an open carry and all these things that they're making legal, then okay, then. You know what I'm saying? But somebody needs to organize. Amanda Seals, you have to take her in doses and small doses. I know I do. But she explained it in a way that was definitely, spot on with my sentiment. I was, like, yeah, this is exactly what I was feeling like.
People claiming they're Black Panthers or Black Panther affiliated, but that Black Panthers don't stand for illegals. I'm seeing people calling themselves Black Panthers who are not co-signed by the Black Panthers. How about this? Why can't y'all start your own organizations? Why? Because the name Black Panther is trusted. And so you want people to automatically trust you. When in actuality, you should be starting from scratch and encouraging and engaging in order to earn that trust the same way the Panthers did. They had consistent presence in communities across the world. I'm paraphrasing, but number 8 of the Black Panther 10-point program is, we are against the oppression of all people, so we want the end to the oppressing. That's not just for Black people. That said, we need more organizations based on the framework of the Panthers that provide constituency services as well as militarized protection. However, knowing the effort of the oppressor to infiltrate, there has to be an organic growth that is made in generosity and in connection and coalition with other organizations. We need all different kinds of organizations that are for the decolonization of the people. And we don't need them to be called the Black Panthers. We need to use the spirit and the realities and the work of the Black Panthers to inspire us in this new era to build organizations that grow upon the work of the Panthers, but address the uniqueness of our realities, the surveillance on another level, the capitalism on another level, the negligence of the Black community by the Black bourgeoisie. There is so much that you don't need to use the Black Panthers name. You just need to let their ancestral wisdom and their failures lead us to create new organizations that create new ways to dismantle these systems and free us from the new prisons that they have put us in.
Support a real one.
Hey. Yes, what she said. I feel like, the skepticism comes in where you're like, I mean, who is this guy and where did they come from? Um, for sure, it takes time to build trust. But, we need different leaders to be able to, step into different rooms and have different conversations along with, you know, the soldiers. Because I don't know that the soldiers is prepared to sit in every room. Um, when blacks are iced out from grocery stores, the Asian stores kept serving them. Sinners movie got that part right. I still haven't watched Sinners. I guess, I'll get there when I get there. Maybe, before the, award season, which seems like they're not going to award them with anything anyway. Well, it's a lot going down. I just feel like, especially when it's going to be time to go out to the polls, and people need to feel like they got somebody there standing. I feel like you know in alliance with us, just to get through. True, just leave the name alone. You can still use the same concept. The Black Panther name will make you a government target. Not just that, like, I feel like she said, like, it's like you're using the name in order to attain some respect that you haven't earned yet. Like, you don't just get to say, do the work, right now, right here, right now. And, I don't know that it's strong enough yet for you to be claiming anything other than, it's time to recruit from everywhere, from cyber people to, boots on the ground to all the different things. What do your army even look like? What do your soldiers even look like? Yeah, he's from Philly. I think that's what they said. Yes, the government labels the Panthers. And you can, you wear a black beret, somebody looking at you some type of way. That lady got paperwork. Oh, there's always that one. Y'all didn't answer my question. T, you don't have to answer. Do y'all have that cousin that you like, oh no, she done went viral over there threatening to sue people? How did she get Uncle Huey's birth certificate? Who gave it to her? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't normally talk about this person, but it's time to get into these celebrities, what they got going on over here. Big ass head self. Drake fights back after lawsuit loss, claims Kendrick's diss track destroyed his reputation. Is that what happened? Drake isn't backing down. Nearly 3 months after a federal judge tossed his defamation lawsuit tied to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, the superstar rapper has officially taken his fight to the appeals court in effort to resurrect the case. He don't have nothing else to do. I feel like your reputation could be revived if you do something besides worry about this. Child, it was a song. It's over. It's plenty of people out here still, repping Drake. Go do something with yourself. A newly filed opening appeal brief, Drake argues Lamar's Grammy-winning track goes far beyond rap theatrics, claiming it presents as fact and an allegation that he's certified pedo. The filing accuses Universal Music Group of aggressively marketing the song in a way that misled the public. What? And caused serious damage to his reputation, insisting the claim is specific, profitable, and not protected opinion. What? Is he for real? Somewhere there's a lawyer like, I'll do it. Write the check. His poor little ego. That's so sad. And he's still like I said, people still want to listen to your ass. So give them something to listen to, or, write a better song. Drake also warns that letting the lower court ruling stand could set a dangerous precedent, according to his brief, classifying diss tracks as automatically immune from defamation claims creates a loophole that shields the artist and the record label. No matter how severe or explicit the accusation, he argues the court effectively ruled that rap lyrics can never be factual regardless of content. Was he there when this happened to 50 and Ja Rule, and 50 came out and then all of a sudden Ja Rule was, I am a gangster. The appeal challenges an October decision by U.S. District Judge Jeanette A. Vargas, who concluded that Lamar's lyrics were non-actionable opinion rooted in the context of a heated rap battle. Maybe he's not a rapper, and so he doesn't, Drake be, maybe he's not a rapper, that's why he doesn't know the rules. Vargas wrote that the reasonable listener would not interpret the song as conveying variable facts, describing it as a part of an exchange filled with exaggerated insults from both artists. Yeah, because that's what rap battles are. However, I think it's the other things that had people questioning your behavior. Drake. Maybe it was your exchange with the teenage girls over the internet that had people like, wah, wah, wah. Drake, however, says the repeated reference in the song, paired with its widely circulated cover art and visuals, blur the line, making the allegations feel real enough to warrant a jury's review. His legal team is now asking the appeals court to revive the lawsuit and send it back for trial, arguing the issue should not have been dismissed outright. Drake originally sued UMG last January, notably not Kendrick Lamar, accusing the label of pushing the track in a way that falsely portrayed him as a criminal. UMG previously fired back, claiming Drake simply lost a rap battle and responded with a lawsuit instead of moving on. The label has not yet commented on the new filing, and the response is due March 27th. So, I mean, will we be back to talk about this? Maybe. What do y'all think? Do you think Drake is being a big whiny baby? Right, all this stuff going on, nobody thinking about Drake. See, that's his problem. His problem is, aside from the world going to hell in a handbasket, we don't like him anymore, and it's all Kendrick's fault. I've never been a Drake fan, and I feel like you Drake dudes know who you are, and that's all I have to say about that. He false claimed the Toronto set was paying for his protection. Listen, I listen to They Not Like Us, and the more I listen to it, the less it's about Drake. Just that one little part, because we all heard about Drake and his, certified wah, wah, wah. The song is so much bigger than Drake. So, Aubrey, isn't that his name? Aubrey? Go sit down somewhere. In Real Housewives news, Kelly, Kelly is our new housewife, and her husband said from the penitentiary. Why is he locked up? Her husband, I forgot what he did, but he's locked up, so he's getting interviewed from the pen. Kelly was over there spending up all the money.
But after 3 kids and 11 years of marriage, it got rocky in 2022. So bad that an argument over a wine bottle landed them both in jail for simple battery. The charges were later dropped, but both knew it was time to call it quits. They did, however, agree to continue operating their restaurant, Nana's Chicken and Waffles.
The recipes, the concept, everything came from me.
The name and logo, however, were named after Kelly's grandmother.
Things were going so well, and then things took a turn. What happened? I applied for a loan, which was like $420,000.
One of several loans they secured together between 2021 and 2022. $59,000, $60,000, $150,000, $291,000. In total, they borrowed upwards of $700,000 from banks. The goal was to open additional restaurant locations in the Atlanta metro area.
What were you seeing in those business accounts?
Just a bunch of, 5,000 here, 5,000 there. Life was great, when I first met Kelly. We never had no problem.
But after 3 kids and 11 years of
5,000 there, hair, makeup.
it seemed random. $150 spa sessions, a $211 nail appointment, and $5,000 transfers to Kelly's personal checking accounts.
How much money, Mark, did you notice was missing from the business account?
It was well over $30,000.
This was also around the time Kelly was planning a trip to Mexico.
She was actually spending the money around her birthday. So, just spending out of control. My business manager said, man, just pull the money.
And that's exactly what he did. Mark's attorney, Latoya Francis Williams, says that he transferred about $420,000 out of a shared business account into his personal business account.
Mr. Farrell really wanted Kelly to be able to still participate, but she had to get the spending habits under control because they all knew that the money was earmarked for the building, and it was only for the building. Their business advisor suggested that Mr. Farrell safe harbor the money, which he did. And at the same time, he, Kelly, and Mr. Farrell would start working on an operating agreement.
In that
5,000 there, hair, makeup.
In that agreement, both Kelly and Mark would have 50-50 ownership of Nana's Chicken and Waffles, with rules though. Both of them shall not, quote, borrow money on behalf of the company, lend any company funds or other assets to any person, or change the nature or character of the business of the company without a unanimous vote.
One of the major restrictions was that Kelly could not withdraw money without a second signature, which is Mr. Farrell's. But she agreed to it. Now, we have the text messages where she acknowledges not only the terms, but being able to talk in robust conversations. But unbeknownst to Mr. Farrell, Kelly had secretly hired an attorney to go to court.
Here's what Kelly said on the Outlaws with T.S. Madison podcast about 2 weeks ago.
I think we talked about on the second episode about him taking almost $500,000 from out the company's bank account when I was on a trip to Mexico. That money was supposed to be used for some other locations. And it became a nightmare.
But what Mark told me, in that agreement, both Kelly and Mark would have 50-50 ownership of Nana's Chicken and Waffles, with rules though. Both of them shall not, quote, borrow money on behalf of the company, lend any company funds or other assets to any person, or change the nature or character of the business of the company without a unanimous vote.
One of the major restrictions
Mark told me Kelly failed to mention is that he had been gradually redepositing that $420,000 back into their shared business account. He says he only took it out to stop Kelly from misappropriating funds.
We had to go to court, unfortunately, and those were the turning points.
And that is when things got messy.
Mark told
me. Both of them sound kind of fishy to me. Sir, take this evidence to court. You said they open and close the Nana's. It was Kelly's? It was Kelly's restaurant that they open and close. This is a thing that doesn't sound right to me. Y'all went out and borrowed all this money. Who borrows the money for the next restaurant when you haven't seen what the first restaurant is going to do? Yes, they're still partners. They're still partners in the business, which, I'm not sure why you would want to make that decision to stay partners in business. If you can't stay partners in marriage, then you can't be partners. That's the problem. Y'all should not partner together on things. But I think they're both full of shit. They were both using the money. She was over there getting her dog spray painted pink and leopard stripes and things, dots. And he took the money out of the account to stop her from spending the money. Both of y'all are full of it. Both of y'all are full of it. He took the money out of the account, I think, so she could no longer continue with operations. Then she went on Housewives and, maneuvered a check to kind of help her sustain. While she was over there, though, I feel like she spent far more money than she made on her. She'll be back for next season. Maybe the check is better. Oh, you said, are they still partners in the business? Seems like it, because they're having a lot of discussion like that. Are they divorced? Is the divorce final? Child, I don't know. I know that both of them sound crazy. He took the money out when I was in, Mexico on a vacation, and we see how Kelly spend money. They over there in Atlanta and some in Potomac and other cities over here pretending. These housewives never have the money like they be pretending, except Beverly Hills and Dorit. Maybe your coin is there, and maybe it's not. Erica Jane, we know your coin is gone. You said I would have left the money in the account and then sue her for taking money for. Well, that makes more sense, or flag the account, do something, but you don't take 500,000 because she's doing overspending, and you can't be over there taking trips to Mexico with company money. That's not how that works. I feel like they both know that. They're both doing a lot of double talking. I can't have a store and be like, hey, what's in the cash register? Give me that $100 bill. I'll be back. There's rules. And I feel like people that do that, like Elsa said, have businesses that open and close. And them saying that, the money in the bank was for future businesses. What is the business you already got, child? Anyway, I'm guessing this will play out on the Housewives. He was over there trying to sue Bravo for cease and desist and things. So we'll see how that plays out. This one, ciao. This caught my eye for some reason. What is Gia doing with Fetty Wap? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but Fetty Wap just got out of jail. In November, I think it is. No, he just got let out, but the people say he's under house arrest. Let me go ahead and look at what the hell the thing say, because I'm not going to remember the details, but I'm just wondering how in the heck did Fetty Wap and Gia Giudice find themselves? Where is it at? Let me show y'all what I've seen. Because I'm like, where the heck are they? $17.38. I'm not gonna play the music, but here they go. That look like, whose house is that? Do they have Fetty Wap over at Teresa Giudice's house? I don't think that's Fetty Wap house. What's happening? They took who's that man? Teresa. Who do Gia got over at your house, child? Well, Fetty Wap just got out of the pen because of trafficking reasons. He was over here. Let's see. Prosecutor said Fetty Wap and 5 co-defendants were involved in a drug trafficking operation between June 19th and June 2020. Authorities said the group moved more than 100 kilograms of heroin, fentanyl, and crack cocaine from the West Coast to Long Island using postal service vehicles with hidden compartments. How far was they driving these mail trucks? All the way from the West Coast to New York? Whew. Wap will be in house arrest in Philadelphia. Okay, so he in Philly until November 8th. So he's no longer under house arrest. Then he will have to spend the next 5 years abstaining from alcohol and drugs, according to TMZ. He might even get a sent outpatient drug program during the time the court thinks he needs, the site said. Well, I mean, good luck with that. That's not going to make him, they do that. How many years is it? First of all, he only served half of his term. He served 3 years out of 6. And now he 5 years. So for 5 years, he's got to do random drug tests. So I don't know what his smoking habits was before, but he's under surveillance, from the feds. I'm just curious as to how he ended up with Judice. Teresa, do you know what's going on over to your house? That's wild. Okay. You didn't know Nanas was part of Housewives? Yeah. And then she was part of her first season was trying to open this second location, which I heard is open. And I also heard that the food is good. So, she's get good reviews. Yes. He did say 50 Cent has been a support. 50 is a major source of support while he was incarcerated, helping him financially and mentally and staying in close contact up until his release. Well, I hope 50 helped him stay out of trouble, and maybe there's a story to be told. So Fetty might find himself on the next episode of whatever the hell 50 got going on, and that's not a bad partnership, for him to come out and look how they look out for each other. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I hope, like I said, 50 better be able to keep him sober, or at least, he'll help him pass the drug test, because I'm sure there's a lot of money involved that can have those papers, taken care of, keep him, out of jail. Isn't Teresa's ex-husband back in Italy? I think he's in the Bahamas, actually. He's somewhere, you know what I'm saying, where he can be closer. He might want rights to the story. There's something involved. He wasn't just going over to the pen just out of the kindness of his heart. He don't like his own kids. So unless there's a money involved, 50 probably has ideas and plans for Fetty. And I mean, I'm guessing Fetty, he gonna need it. It's a win-win. Get your money, Fetty. And I don't know that 50 has a reputation of not being fair with the money. Now, Puff does. We know, but if you side with Puff, you will never see your money. I heard the other day that Puff had to sell one of his private jets, pay some of these bills, take all the things. How long he gonna be there? I want to drain the bucket. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Lila. Remember that? Okay, so before I go, I didn't think I was going to talk about Stefan Diggs, and all I'll say about Stefan is one of the baby mamas, dropped the court case, the blood test came through, and so this is child number 6. He got 6 of them over there, 3 of which were born in 2025. So, and one of them is Cardi B's baby. So, we'll have to see what those assault charges look like. But for right now, all the kids is his. So there you go. So before we go, Portia is over here posting things on her social media. Before you F with me, remember you call people to handle things and people call me to handle things. Who calling Pusha P? Who be calling her that? Who calling Pusha P to handle things? We are not the same. Who's she talking to? Portia is over there filming the Real Housewives road trip, and she already got beef. And people said that they're filming in Orange County, allegedly. So who's she beefing with? He went from no kids. Well, he had, yes. So I went down the timeline. She talking about Stefan Diggs. I went down the timeline. He has like an 8-year-old little girl from 2016. And then 2023, he had another one. And then 2025, I don't know. There's maybe this last one. So he 3 of them I know came in this past year, but he did have a couple kids before. And of course, we want to make a big deal out of Cardi B being one of his baby mamas. She need to be worried about them other charges he got going. Yeah, so Portia is over there, in the OC filming for this trip. So who is she beefing with? Does this have anything to do with the people? She said you call people to handle things. Is the people ICE or, the police department? Where Portia goes, there's going to be a fight. She was over here fighting with Shamia, and it looks like, she might be in some beef with one of these ladies from the OC or one of the ladies in the car with her. Don't be fighting with the ladies in the car. I feel like over in the OC, Tamara Judge got a big mouth. So I wonder if, you know what I'm saying? I wonder, and Gretchen and Portia are like the pretty girls. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But I feel like if she over there fighting and she didn't put out a sub to somebody, then it's probably Tamara Judge. Tamara be over there on her podcast with Teddy running her mouth. I don't have any actual facts on this matter. I'm just saying that's what I think is going on over here. Anyway, y'all, we've been here an hour and almost 20 minutes. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I'm taking the next 2 days off. So I will be back Monday. Well, I'll be back Friday. No, tomorrow's Friday. See how I'm all messed up? I'll be back Sunday with Ready to Love. And, then we'll kick off again our coffee talks on Monday morning at 10. So, yeah, until then, enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you when I see you.